Welcome back to this special edition of Houston Life from Sam Houston Race Park. Derek Shore here along with Tessa Barrera.
Yeah, well, the horses may be the star of the show. You know, they can only perform as well as their rider.
Yeah, that is so true. Being a jockey takes years of practice and nerves of steel. Of course, Jockey Isaiah Wiseman is joining us now with a look at what it takes to ride some of the fastest horses in the country. Hey, it's so nice to meet you, Isaiah. Thanks for spending time with us today. Horse racing runs in your family. You were born in Lexington, Kentucky. You moved to Fort Wayne, Indiana. What age did you start riding horses and essentially training to be a horse jumper?
Yeah, well, I mean, growing up in Lexington, probably since I could talk, just being around Keeneland racetrack and the whole culture of Kentucky, I just had it in my mind, but is probably all I ever thought of doing.
So you were on horseback from as early as you can remember?
Essentially, yeah.
So horse jumping and then making the transition over to being a horse jockey, that's huge. When did you finally, I mean, did it take nerves? Were you building up to that, or how did it happen?
It was always, my original plan was a jockey before I even jumped a horse. But growing up in America, it's not really accessible for the youth you can't just go race like as a kid. So it was kind of my way of getting some kind of competitive fix with horses, and it kind of just led down that path. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I was going to end up back at the racetrack.
It's incredible, Isaiah. You are an athlete. The horses are athletes as well. This takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of training. Can you describe to us what is a typical day like for you while the thoroughbred season is underway?
Yeah, so a day like today, we'll wake up. The training hours are pretty early, 5, 6 in the morning.
Wow.
And we'll walk around with our agents and take horses through workouts and network with trainers and kind of do that for a couple of hours. And then myself, I very big on fitness, and it's really important for what we do. So after the track, I'll go to the gym and work out and look at the races and watch replays and that kind of thing. And then with like a nighttime post, we might go home and rest and probably watch more races.
Wow.
And just kind of look over what you want to do for the night and get prepared in that way.
So it's a lot, to me, it seems like a lot of preparation for a race that really isn't that long.
Right.
So what keeps you going? What makes it all worth it to you?
Myself, I just am obsessed with the sport, really. And it's just unlike anything else. Like it just overwhelms your mind. It's all you think about. And just the competition with the horses, they're, so athletic, and it's just the whole environment surrounding the sport is just unlike anything.
Wow.
I'm surprised to hear that your days start so early. I mean, 5, 6 a.m. on a day like today when the live race doesn't happen until 6 p.m.
Right.
When that race happens, you've already been at it. You and your horse have already been at it for more than 12 hours. This takes incredible stamina. From nearly 2,000 starts, you have 146 wins.
Yeah, it's, not been, I have a lot to progress in my career, but it hasn't been a letdown by any means.
If there was maybe a little kid at home watching and saying, you know what, that seems cool, that is like the dream job for them, what advice, you're born into a racing family, but what real advice would you give someone that looks up to you and says, wow, that's really cool?
I would say really everyone in the sport is so helpful to the youth and people who want to become involved. And I mean, anybody you talk to on the backside, they all have their own idea of where to guide a young person. And I mean, it's a very accessible sport if you ask the question,
Nice.
But there's no direct path as there like you can't be a little kid and go do little kid racing. So
yeah,
it's everyone really has their own path.
Yeah.
I know your father does a lot of different things involved with horses, but one of his jobs, he's a farrier.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us what that job is? Because this is a term that I was not familiar with. I'd heard of blacksmiths, but this is a little bit different or totally the same?
All of the horses that race, they wear shoes like metal, or they're made of aluminum most of the time. And it's really important, actually. The horse's soundness, a lot of it stems from their foot. Well, it's soundness meaning the health of the way they're hitting the ground and their legs and ligaments and bones and just everything, because it's a lot of stress on them, the racing. So it all starts in the foot, and it's the balance of it and the structural integrity of it is really one of the more important factors to a healthy racehorse.
Yeah.
So the farriers, they are kind of foot doctors, a pediatrician.
Yeah.
So that's really their role, and they're kind of unsung heroes. You know, they don't get praised, but every trainer and owner knows that they're one of the most important factors to a racehorse's longevity and health.
A very important job.
Let's take
Isaiah
time
Wiseman
to say thanks to Isaiah's dad. I'm sure he's so proud of you, by the way.
and the entire family. Thanks for spending time with us today at Houston Live, and best of luck in your career. We'll be watching.
Thank you guys.
And tonight, good
Yeah,
luck.
thanks for having me.
And in the meantime, you can come out and see Isaiah and all the other jockeys competing Friday nights right here at the park. For all the details, you can visit shrp.com.
So cool. Okay.